everyone. Thanks for joining us from our studios in Israel. I'm Aaron Porras here with ILTV's Morning Briefing. Last night, Israeli paramilitary police officers shot and killed a teenage Palestinian girl after she attempted to carry out an attack at the entrance to Jerusalem's Old City. Police spokeswoman Luba Samri said they recovered a knife along with a farewell letter from the girl dedicated to her family, quoting a verse from the Quran. The girl signed it at the end with the word Shahida, which is the Arabic word for martyr. 16-year-old Fatima Hejeji is amongst hundreds of Palestinians that have carried out sporadic street attacks against Israelis in Jerusalem and the West Bank starting in 2015. Israel blames Palestinian leadership and states they will remain to keep tight restrictions on the movement of Palestinians, especially in the West Bank checkpoints that border Israel. French Israelis overwhelmingly voted for Emmanuel Macron over Marine Le Pen in yesterday's French presidential election. The ratio seems to be consistent all across the world, too, as France's ambassador to Israel, Hélène Legal, took to Twitter to reveal that Macron received 96.3% of the vote of French Israelis. The French ambassador said that the number was based off of results in Tel Aviv, Netanya, Haifa, Ashdod, Eilat, and Beersheba, but did not include votes from the French consulate in Jerusalem. Much of Macron's support came from the fact that Le Pen's ultra-nationalist party, the National Front, advocated for prohibiting ritual animal slaughter in accordance with the Jewish and Islamic dietary laws, as well as the wearing of religious attire in public spaces. The party also has troubling history regarding Holocaust denial. Just 4 days before the election, Le Pen claimed that France bore no responsibility for the 1942 roundup by French police in Nazi-occupied France of Jews at the Veldiv Paris cycling track, Jews who eventually ended up in death camps. Marine's father and party founder Jean-Marie Le Pen was also kicked out of the party in 2011 over numerous comments seen as diminishing the Holocaust or even denying it. In yet another upsetting example last week, National Front Party chairman Jean-François Jalk was forced to resign after numerous recorded remarks resurfaced of him claiming that it was impossible for the Nazis to have used Zyklon B gas to murder millions of European Jews. Upon winning the election, Macron received calls of congratulations from various Israeli leaders, with many lawmakers describing his triumph as a victory over anti-Semitism. Macron has said that under his presidency, France will not support the unilateral creation of a Palestinian state, as doing so would harm Israeli-French relations and will impede the two-state solution. Macron has also come out strongly against the BDS movement. That being said, in the past, he has expressed support for a partial boycott on the Israeli goods coming from the occupied territories. On Monday evening, United States Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff of the U.S. Army General Joseph Dunford will arrive in Israel as the guest of IDF Chief of Staff Lieutenant General Gadi Eisenkot. This will mark Dunford's third visit to Israel and fourth meeting with Eisenkot. According to the Israeli news publication Ynet, Dunford will also meet with Defense Minister Avigdor Lieberman, where they intend to discuss Russia and the ongoing war in Syria, including Syria's use of chemical weapons. Other topics will include the continued fighting in the Sinai Peninsula and the transfer of developed weapons to Hezbollah. Although the IDF and United States Embassy will not officially confirm any details about Dunford's trip, there has already been several high-ranking military officials visiting Israel during the past few months. In March, United States Army European Command General Curtis Scaparrotti visited Israel for his second time, in which he placed emphasis on the strong military partnership between Israel and the United States. Scaparrotti described it, stating, quote, "It was built on trust developed over decades of close cooperation," end quote. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is now declaring his support for United States President Donald Trump's latest peace push ahead of the president's first visit to the region. During his weekly cabinet meeting, Netanyahu told his ministers that Israel will be honored to host Trump on his first presidential trip abroad. During the meeting, Netanyahu said that, quote, "The president will be warmly welcomed here as a great friend of Israel and as a worthy leader of our great ally, the United States," end quote. Trump is set to make a one-day visit to Israel on May 22nd, along with his wife, his daughter Ivanka, and son-in-law Jared Kushner, the latter serving as top advisors for the president. Since being elected to office, Trump has pledged to work hard to bring to fruition what he calls the ultimate deal to resolve the Palestinian-Israeli conflict. During his trip, Trump is expected to meet with Netanyahu and President Reuven Rivlin, as well as Palestinian Authority President Mahmoud Abbas, to discuss, among many things, this said deal. Marwan Barghouti, who has been leading a hunger strike among Palestinian prisoners since last month, has just been caught red-handed eating. Barghouti, who himself is a convicted terrorist serving 5 life sentences plus 40 years, started the hunger strike in efforts to get Israeli prison services to cave into his demands. He has an estimated 1,500 prisoners participating. In the video released by IPS yesterday, however, Barghouti can be seen on 2 separate occasions unwrapping food from paper and eating in his bathroom stall. Though the dates of the footage have not been verified, they purportedly show April 27th and May 5th, both after the hunger strike began. Public Security Minister Gilad Erdan called Barghouti a murderer and a hypocrite, continuing, quote, "As I said from the very beginning, this hunger strike was never about the conditions of the convicted terrorists, which meet international standards. It is about advancing Marwan Barghouti's political ambitions to replace Abbas. Barghouti is a murderer and a hypocrite who urged his fellow prisoners to strike and suffer while he ate behind their back," end quote. A prison service spokesman said that, quote, "The video speaks for itself." That's all for now. I'm Aaron Porras, and see you later with our main daily broadcast from Israel at 2 p.m. Eastern Time.